Check 1, 2. Right. Great, now it's in the shot. Perfect. There you go. It's a little better. Yeah. Let's do a little clap. Can we see this? Can we see this? Excellent. Alright, family. And oh, what's up, family? Welcome back. Where to begin? I wanted to hopefully start something that I've been meaning to do for a long time. Just be honest. Kind of lost myself there for a little bit. Is this lens dirty? Oh, that is atrocious. We need to, give me 1 second. This is bad. That is, oh my, there you go. That's clean. That's clean. That's clean. Yeah. Anywho, all right. Let's try this out. Let's start it again. My hope is to give a bit of an explanation on just, sorry, I got my notes, on just where life has been in the last couple, year, I guess you could say. I mentioned this before, probably about literally last year, my birthday. I had a little bit of, I wouldn't call it like a midlife crisis, maybe you could. I just had I just kind of lost myself. And it was happening at a very interesting time in my family's life as well. And when I lost myself, I can't say that I was like depressed. I can't say that I was sad. I guess I lost the direction, like where I was going. And I'm just going to be honest, and I'll talk more about this another time, or maybe later. Acting. I got into acting, and it screwed me up completely. I thought life was going in one direction, and then I got introduced to acting, and it just honestly, I have no other way of putting it. All right, so essentially, I started doing this SHADELIFE Café actually, like years ago, like years ago. I have the initial reason for doing this was because I wanted to create just like a space for like nuggets of wisdom and just some thoughts and perspectives. That this autofocus is driving me insane. We're gonna fix that right now. How's that? A little bit further? How's that? I come closer. This is better. This is good, right? We can deal with that. Just go like a hair out. Cool. Let's just stay there. Golly. That's driving me nuts. Get it together, Canon. Just kidding. I just have a bad lens on there. Okay. So essentially I started SHADELIFE Cafe because I wanted there to just be a space for me to express just like some thoughts that I had, but really just to share some nuggets of wisdom, some inspiration, maybe even just some stories or parables or just something that will kind of help the human spirit lift, right? At the time I was diving deep into ministry, so I just wanted to create a piece of work that would help with that. I was doing sermons at the time, and I was studying to become a pastor. And dude, really, man, with the freaking, is that necessary? Right now, it is late. Sorry, guys, ADD, bad. What was I saying? Yeah, so I started doing these SHADELIFE Cafes because at the time in my life I was wanted to save the world with words, I guess, right? And that's always been a thing. I just want to be of service or help or use my gifts that I have to be able to help in some capacity to others, right? I would say that my idea of ministry is less about converting people, saving people. I know that that is the narrative for most Christian circles. I was just taught differently. And I think that the message of that is a lot less about trying to bring people to Jesus and more or less just bringing the love of Jesus to people, which is what I believe. And that process has brought me a lot of peace. It's also got me into a lot of trouble, and it's also opened up some really wonderful doors and helped me meet some really incredible people in my life. So, SHADELIFE Café. SHADELIFE is essentially just a label that I use to describe the work that I do that is autobiographical. It's about my life. And there's many reasons that I do that. One being it's just me expressing, and two, it's me trying to figure out my life through this art form. As some of you may know, I talk about it a decent amount, but I'm a child of adoption. So understanding my story is something that helps me heal through my own process, through life. If I can live it and talk about it, it just helps me understand it a little bit more. I never really felt like I had the ground to firmly stand on throughout my life, and it's probably just me being a whiny kid as an adult. But so anyway, I'm gonna kind of give you the full picture so you can understand a little bit about just where I've been at, where I'm currently at. So I created this piece of work, and at the same time I was also posting my sermons. So essentially I started social media, YouTube, because I just wanted to share the work that I was doing, which was ministry, which was trying to bring a word of love and inspiration to whoever's willing to listen or needs it. And I know most of the times when I would teach something, it had way more to do with teaching myself about something in life and learning about life than it was about anything else. So essentially I was just figuring out life, which I would argue most pieces of work is that. Anyway, I got into other types of, I guess, creating pieces of work creatively in video and filmmaking, and then I decided to start vlogging. But when I started vlogging, I didn't actually vlog because I wanted to vlog. I was just bored at my job, really. I was working this job. I was a video producer along with other really great and talented video producers, and we were creating a bunch of content, advertising, marketing, all that sort of for a really huge university. And but I was there for over 10 years, and I got bored, and I was super uninspired, unfulfilled, and I just wanted to do something outside of that I knew how to do, which was video. And I picked up the camera. I got inspired by some of the great vloggers of YouTube, some of the great YouTubers, I guess, and I started vlogging. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt something that I haven't felt, which was to be proud of your own work. And it kind of fueled me. It woke me up in the morning. And then when I found out that I was going to have a son, our son Bodhi, I decided that I was going to start daily vlogging, at least for that time in that process, right? So I started making the daily vlog and waking up every day, and the idea was 100 videos in 100 days, or at least until my son was born. You can go back on the channel and you can watch that stuff. And I actually love watching that stuff because it reminds me so much of myself, because it is my life, but so much of a time in my life that I think it's really important to remember, because it's very before Brendan started really figuring out Brendan. So in doing this vlog, I wanted this challenge. I wanted to wake up every single day and make a video. But essentially the vlog came in very different parts. I wanted to create like a reason for travel, getting out of the house. My wife and I were like super inspired by Bucket List Family, and we just wanted to travel the world and see places and experience it with our family. We genuinely do want to try our best to raise our family very differently from the generation that raised us. And not that the generation before us was bad. We just want to do it differently, right? And we're still going to pursue that. Just maybe a little bit different than what I thought. Anywho, that's not the point. So that's one of the reasons it started. The other one is that I love documenting life. I actually think because I grew up in hip-hop culture, watching other dance tapes, people's dance footage, watching their mixtapes, I guess you would say. You would get like b-boys and their DVDs later on in the culture, watching battles on tapes. I mean, for me, it was just filming as a part of the culture, and at the same time, I was going to school for video and filmmaking. So whatever, not really, it wasn't filmmaking. It was just video production. Just every school has to name it that and make it seem like they're teaching film, but they're not. They're teaching video production. Which video production is part of filmmaking, but filmmaking is an art form. Video is just like the work, right? My opinion. Anywho, so I was studying video and when I was involved in breaking, and also my parents, they were the first people ever. When I think about it, like when I really think about it, it was my parents. They were the first ones to ever show me the concept of having a camera and documenting life, because they have home videos of our family. I assume that they believed that our situation was unique, being 3 adopted children in America. That must have been a very interesting life to raise 3 kids all at once at different ages that are Filipino. And my parents, they're not Filipino. So I assume that they just thought it would be, an interesting thing to document. Probably different than most. And I still have that footage. At least my mom converted all those tapes to digital and then sent them over to us, her children, and now we have them. And I'm pretty sure there's so much more. I have footage for days because I've been filming life in that way because I was inspired by my parents since I was a teenager. Really, I got from talent shows and even before that, martial arts, gymnastics, from even before high school. I got tapes for days. They're just upstairs and I haven't converted them. Please, someone tell me how to do that. What site do you use? I mean, I know how to do it. I just can't afford the equipment to do it. I mean, I probably could, but it's an expense. ADD. Anyway, what were we talking about? Right. The vlog. So I started doing the vlog, and at the time it was the rise of vloggers and YouTubers, and so much was happening, and I was pretty fascinated just the concept, waking up every single day, and it inspired me in a way that I realized that I could do something for me. I just never really considered it. I grew up in the production world. I mean, I've been working on production sets since I was a teenager, like before I could drive, really. So it's just been my life. So I only really know set life, set etiquette. That's all that I've ever really known. So I, for the first time, like really filming something for myself outside of like high school projects, I just felt something different. Like even in college, I don't think I've actually really created a piece of work for me, except for maybe some dance clips, which I love doing, but that was just fun and games. I just never really did it and took it seriously. And this is the first time I did it and consciously understood, dude, you just made something for yourself. Congrats. My son was born around episode 89. And being scared out of my mind about being a father and so insecure about screwing up, I said, I'm gonna put the camera down and learn how to be a father. This is where things got weird. And the moment I put that camera down and I dove into parenthood, it's not that parenthood messed me up. It's that I stopped doing something that I really enjoyed doing, which was telling stories through film. But film really is just filmmaking is just another avenue of expression for me. Um, Essentially, I enjoyed this process, and it gave me an avenue to not only share my life, but some of my thoughts, some lessons, some life lessons, really big life lessons, and also just experiencing joy throughout the world. I feel that I have a different type of lifestyle than others, and especially being a dancer. Dancers live very differently, but dancers are some of the most wonderful, beautiful human beings on this earth. The willingness that they have to just go places to dance, but also the humility that they carry as well in life, to not really have much, just because they want to dance, to not always feel like you have to have the best of anything. They're always willing to sleep wherever they want. Meaning, yeah, just give me a couch, give me the floor. It's very, very normal to have strangers over your house, and have them sleep on the floor, or on the couch, or wherever you have, if you have an extra bed, because dancers understand dancers, and we're all there to get down. And if there's an event happening local, and you're part of that local area, out of towners, if they need a place to stay, you open your arms and your doors, and you make some really, really great friends. I'm so blessed to have, man, like, friends around the world, that if I travel, I could just, contact them and tell them, hey, I'm in town, or, hey, do you know anybody in this place, in this area, and just be able to go and connect with them. I love it. And I am, and was, and will always be a dancer. Not just a dancer at heart, but a dancer. And that leads a lot of my life. So, yeah, I never really made content or projects outside of really dance for me. But I was also inspired by a lot of genres that actually aren't film. Like, I didn't get into video because I watched movies like most people, or a lot of people. Now, I'm from a different generation. I'm from a generation where we downloaded our music videos and our music off LimeWire and Kazaa and BearShare, right? And Napster. I think I actually didn't use Napster as much. LimeWire and Kazaa was my thing, for sure. And I remember it was the first time that I ever saw like Circle of Fire, Battle of the Year. You probably don't know any of these titles if you're not in the world that I'm talking about. Man, I remember seeing Clash of the Titans, Flying Steps, and then also a lot of artists. David Elsewhere, that dude. I think Cloud, he started putting up a lot of his stuff earlier, but they were like short pieces of media, and they weren't big pieces. I don't think he started doing that till like maybe 2005, 2006-ish. I could be wrong, but Free started putting out his stuff, and this is early YouTube, or not even YouTube. So I was inspired by that, creating pieces of content. One of my favorite edits ever, still to this day, is Red Bull Lords of the Floor 2, with the Bonobo track, or Bonobo. My gosh, still one of my favorite edits ever done. And that's what I was inspired by. I was inspired by dance videos and music videos, because that's what I was into, and that's what I came up on. So a lot of my editing style, or my approach to it, or even my interest and love for it, comes from exactly that, but not really film, which is interesting. But in and through that, I also picked up certain styles, right? Like dance photography, very, raw footage styles, documentary styles of filming, and I picked up all that stuff. So implementing those ideas into the vlog was important for me. But then vlogging, I think, went in a direction that I wasn't for. And I didn't sign up for creating vlogs, I guess, for that direction. And at the time, I didn't really have enough self-awareness to understand it. So I just slowed down. So when I put the camera down, by the way, sorry for all the ADD. This is just how my brain works. Is this in focus? Yes, it's good. Better slow down on this water. So when I started working on other videos outside of the vlog, right? I finished the project. We made the 100th video eventually, and I decided I'm gonna keep making videos. But in still trying to make videos, I struggled just keeping them up, and I couldn't figure out why for the longest time. So eventually, I just stopped. And once I stopped doing those videos, I mean, first comes like the first stop where I put the camera down from the 100-day vlog. But then after I started doing them again, I started doing it and things were going good. And then I made like one video that I'm pretty proud of, I guess, after that. And others, I'm not saying I'm not proud of them. I didn't have the feeling like I understood what I was doing. I was just making a video. And sometimes, honestly, art is like that. And somewhere along the line, I got not only uninspired, I got extremely confused about if I enjoyed doing this. I have dance, and I have community, and I have, pastoring or sermons and public speaking. But this, I've had this since I was a teenager, that it literally paid my bills for majority of my life. So I always have to redefine what this is for myself. And last year I came to this weird place where I just wasn't sure what this was for me. Going back to the videos and content. So I just really wasn't sure. I started doing things again, and then every time I did it, I was discouraged. I didn't feel like I was sharing something honest, but I just kept trying to truck through. And then eventually, in pushing too hard, I guess you could say, it also kind of crushed my spirit a little bit in my professional world, because at the same time I was doing this, as far as just creating content for myself. After the 100-day vlog, I started a business, so I didn't have to go back into corporate, because I got laid off a job that I told you about earlier. I laid off that job, and now I'm laid off, and I don't have anything. So I just took all my experiences. You know what? Let's just start our own thing, and that's what I did. And luckily, after the 100-day vlog, I learned a lot. I learned how to produce, film, edit, and upload a video in 24 hours. So I learned how to work fast. I learned how to create a process. I learned that a camera, knowing how to wield its power consistently, can do a lot for my own spirit. I also learned that I met a lot of people, a lot of contacts, because when you're doing the 100-day vlog, you're just going around talking, meeting people. And then, let's see, and I made a lot of professional gains, honestly, through this. So starting my own business just kind of made sense, and I had people asking me to make films and make videos, so why not? And I just picked up photography at the time, just because I was bored out of my mind, so I needed something. So yeah, I just picked it up and boom, started the business. So when I got to this weird place in my life and my career, everything was kind of working, but then it wasn't. So yeah, things just weren't working. I mean, I was working, I was making money, and I didn't make like a whole lot, but I made a lot more than I've ever made in my entire life, and things were going really good. My wife and I, we bought a house, and we were traveling, and we were working, and making my own schedule. And then pandemic hit, but in a weird way, we were okay in pandemic because we had more clients than we did before pandemic. So I just really stopped creating stuff, and I was just focusing on the business, and I would make a video here and there, but nothing too serious. And then, man, I remember the production. I was on set, and I was trying to direct she's a model, but it's so funny now that I think about it. I was trying to get her to act a little bit, and it just wasn't clicking. Back then I didn't understand it, but now I get it, because acting is a skill set. So not just being on camera is one thing, or looking good on camera, but acting are very different things, like modeling and acting. This is not hating on it, because some of my close friends are models. But I was on set, and I was trying to direct a model to do something, and it wasn't clicking. So I just said, "Do you mind if I just show you? Like I said, like you come on this side, and I'll come over there." And we did. We switched places, and she was totally fine with it. And I did it for her. I said the lines that I needed her to say, and she stood there for a second, and she said, "You're pretty good on camera. Have you ever considered going on that side?" And I was like, no. It was, it was always like I don't know, maybe I could do what you do, I guess. I just never thought about that side of the camera in depth, right? And I know what these people get paid because I book them, or I get them booked. So I was like, yeah, I mean, the extra cash wouldn't help, so why not? So then she was like, here, take this number, call this guy, and take a Zoom class. If you don't like it, at least you'll know, and maybe you'll learn something, become a better director, but maybe you'll like it. And she did that. And took the class with Michael Jacques. I remember the first class I took. I absolutely fell in love with whatever I just did. It gave me a feeling that I haven't felt in a really long time. Some of you might know, but in 2009, I got into a car accident and I injured myself. And right before that, I was climbing my way up in my dance career as a break dancer, which doesn't sound correct in the time frame that I was doing it, because they're really I don't know where that could have taken me. Seeing where things are going now, I mean, break dancing is going to be in the Olympics. That's nuts. Whoever thought that would be a thing? And it's awesome to see my culture doing it, and people pushing through. But I remember that feeling, man. 2009, my world shattered. Everything that I worked hard for, that I really wanted in my life for me, I've just started getting noticed. I was getting flown out. I was getting recognized. I was getting hired, getting set up to compete against people, flying to different states, getting known, right? The come up, and then boom, car accident, injury, and I'm taken off the floor. I never stopped dancing, but I definitely didn't dance like I did before, and I went on this journey, man. This journey to try to get back into dance somehow, some way, and it led me down a bunch of different career paths. DJing, community building, event planning, pastoring, photography. Jeez, man. I'm trying to think of all the things that I did. I'm probably missing a bunch, but I started a DJ company. Man. But I went through a journey of just trying to find my way back to how I can enjoy something the same way that I enjoy dancing and making money with it. Even though when I was growing up, I wanted nothing to do with money when it came to dance. I just wanted to dance. So anyway, fast forward back into the story. I did a scene, and I felt the same feelings you get when you're breaking, when you're dancing in front of an audience. It's just alive. It's just this aliveness. You're in the moment, completely immersed in a moment. You forget about what's around you, and you're just there, you and your scene partner, or maybe just you, and you just let it out. As long as you're off book, you can let go. Off book means you memorize your lines. As long as you are off book, you can just go and flow and just enjoy the moment and feel that moment. And that's what dancing feels like, when you can just let go and be in a moment. And you have these moments where you don't even remember what you did. It was just in the moment, purely, and it could never happen again because it was that moment. And acting felt like that. And after feeling it, I didn't know if I wanted to return back to this. And I thought it was acting. I needed to go forward in it. I got really confused because this was still, and still is, how I maintain my life. It's how I pay my bills. It's how I move through life. So the thought of having to do something that maybe I don't love anymore and pursue something like acting, which is extremely crazy to say, honestly, it is not a career for the faint-hearted, and definitely not a career for people that are soft in spirit. Man. But I decided that I would just take a step. I'll just walk and see what happens. I physically, literally couldn't put cameras down because now not only was it my job as far as like making videos and taking photos, but also I needed the camera to also get to know a new craft. So acting really screwed me up. But it screwed me up more in what acting is. I'm a type of person that I don't like going into anything unless I understand the art. Like, I have to honor and respect it. Even before I make my own judgments, my own opinions, my own rules, I have to understand what this art form is. And I wanted to take the time necessary to do that. So I just kept taking class. I would take some workshops here, some master classes at times, and I just started reading a lot and studying. And the teacher that I had, Michael Jacques, he was really big on teaching us the classics and teaching us really great writing. And I'm very thankful for that because, one, it helped me get over my insecurity of reading out loud, because my ADD is really bad. And sometimes it gets the best of me, and reading out loud I am extremely insecure about. But I've managed and I've improved, and I'm still working on it. But also, that class also helped me in so many ways. Just know what good acting is, and know what it's not. Know what good writing is, know what it isn't. Seeing contemporary work makes a lot more sense in knowing its origins and where it comes from. And I would say it's important for any art form that you go back to learn and understand not just its origins, but its history, because it puts a lot of things more into context. So what walls had to be broken, what doors had to be locked and unlocked, and why artists did what they did in the time frame that they did it. What made an individual famous, right? Or I would say what made them respected. Because in the culture that I was brought up on, breaking's not about fame. It's not. It's about respect. It's about respecting its culture, but also respecting the community, honoring its own traditions, but also working hard to be original enough to change its future. Because its basis is, no biting. So, that's an impossible thing because there's nothing new underneath the sun. But, the idea is for artists to be as original as possible. That's a huge part of its foundation. My opinion, I think hip hop has lost its way in so many ways in that idea. Artists are more concerned about winning than they are about expressing themselves, telling their own story. There's so much about hip hop story and not about contributing to the story. And I wasn't raised that way. I was raised with certain families that were very much about signature styles, and being free from, the culture's chains and the big names that hold it down. Sorry, another rant. But I didn't grow up that way. I forgot what we were talking about, straight up. I'm focused. Film, yes, there it is. Film making was never on my radar, if I'm honest. I just wanted to create cool videos, cool edits. I was inspired by the YouTube generation more than anything. But when I got involved with acting, I started watching films because I wanted to understand acting. And now that I was watching films, I started getting really inspired by the cinematography and the storytelling through filmmaking. And I realized that, wait, I understand this because I know this, and I know this because I studied it. And why do I like this so much? And I had this really awesome and weird realization that I really love the art of filmmaking. And I just started studying it and observing it, and I love it. I watch probably a movie every night or every other night. I love documentaries, and I also like all types of genres of film too, just to see, even international. I love, I think one of my favorites, honestly, is biopics, and autobiographical filmmaking, which is very rare, but it's when I get in touch with it and I see people do it, it's fascinating to me. I love fiction, I love nonfiction, but biopic is definitely, it's a lane. But anyway, I started paying attention to some of the greats, Scorsese, Spielberg, of course, like watching Marvel stuff and DC stuff. And I came to this really weird place that, look, acting is a thing that I've kind of fell in love with, and I'm not really sure what this relationship is with this art form, but I do know I want to not only respect it, but I want to go on the journey. Meaning, I don't want to just get booked and go, and I don't want to just be in commercial life. I want to experience acting, but I also am experienced enough in art to know that there is no timeline. It is just a journey. And as long as you do something because you really enjoy it and you love it, you'll be fine. Because then when things don't work out, you don't get what you wanted, then you don't have a reason to stop, because that's not why you were doing it in the first place. So I've been able to do some really cool projects already recently, but I also started picking up my camera to film my own stuff. I have a couple of pieces of content up on the channel about like acting. Nothing major, but I hope to create more stuff and put it out there. But what I realized is that I instinctively started learning filmmaking, and I just applied my video production to the art of filmmaking with acting, and now whoa, now what do I do? See, my issue in life is not that I don't have ideas. I have ADD, so my problem is that I have too many ideas, and I don't know how to manage them. And when you have a lot of ideas and you're also multidisciplinary talented, you are not sure where to output those ideas and how you want to output them. I mean, if I have an idea of an expression or a story, I could express it through a microphone and tell you a story, or put a sermon together, or we can try to make a video together. I can take a photo. I can make a dance piece. I can create an event. I could do a lot. I can make a DJ mix. I can produce a song to tell you how I feel about something. So when you have so many options, you're just not sure which option is the best. And I'm the type of person, when I'm not sure which side of the fork to go down, I just sit at the beginning of the fork until I figure it out. And that's where I've been for the last probably year and change. I've just been sitting here trying to figure it out. SHADELIFE Café is the place that I can just be honest, and hopefully that I can be able to accomplish what I set out to do with this. For me, it was a word of wisdom. It was a nugget of thought that possibly could uplift your day in your spirit, or change the course of your day. It's like the idea of reading a book versus hearing a quote. Sometimes that's all you need. It's a quick word. So whatever I share in here, I just always hope that it's something that encourages conversation with others, but also internal conversation. Because I know whenever I hear other people's stories, I find ways to connect to them, and it helps me grow as an individual. So that's what I hope for the most, is that this piece of work acts as that for others, whether it's in the morning or at night. SHADELIFE cafes are just a place of conversation. I truly believe that most issues in life would be alleviated through some sort of process of communication. But we've forgotten how to do it in so many ways. So we've forgotten how to talk to people, actually talk and actually listen to people. Everything is even comments are just an agenda to grab more subscribers, right? We just become a silly generation. You have a problem with someone, you text them, just go knock on their door, go talk to them, fight if you have to. We're a generation that hides, ironically saying this now, we hide behind our screens, is what it is. And in my own confusion, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a part of this generation, honestly, meaning work-wise, social media. One of the biggest reasons of stepping away from the platform for a bit was I was unsure if I wanted to be a part of this. So, with that being said, this is where I landed in a year. I did a lot of meditation. Had a lot of conversations with myself and with people close to me, and with therapists, professionals. And where I landed is I'm going to pursue acting with all my heart, because I'm really fascinated by the art form. I'm not going to chase it, though, for my career. If it opens doors and it turns into a career, great. That would be really awesome. But I'm not going to chase it. I'm just going to act. That's all I want to do. I really enjoy this craft. I think it's a beautiful practice that I now have in my life, and it's done such wonders already. It's made me a better person, because it's an art form that is about complete compassion. You have to learn how to walk in somebody else's shoes and find yourself in their story. because that's the only way that the story becomes true as an actor. I'm okay. I'm not the best. I think I'm pretty good. I have a lot to learn, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying it out loud. I have a lot to learn, but damn, I really enjoy doing it. It's because of acting and going through this process, this internal work that every actor has to do, which is to know themselves, to know what makes them tick, what are their blocks, what are their emotional blocks, knowing what gets you inspired, what brings tears, what makes you sad, what breaks your heart, what makes you angry. Like understanding that internal dialogue. That's the work that a lot of this craft requires, at least from studying some of the greats. So I went on that journey for myself through this whole year. And man, there was a lot of tears. This was a tough fucking year, man. I'll be honest with you. I really lost myself. And then somehow, some way, just continue to try to act is kind of what helped me stay afloat. I had my job and I had cameras, and the more that I think about the idea of losing yourself when you have a family and also another child on the way, then that's really scary. I remember when I lost my job in 2019 and I just had Bodhi. 2 months later, I just had Bodhi. And I got laid off my job, and I had just gotten ordained as a pastor. I worked so hard. I thought that dream was impossible because I've been kicked out of so many spiritual homes because of my beliefs and what I believe, but or even questioning. I mean, I got in trouble for doubting because you're not allowed to doubt, apparently. What the hell is the idea of faith without doubt? Anyways. Man, that was a scary time. But I had a piece of work that I was owning and learning how to hold, and I'm still learning how to hold it. And it did so much for me. I had to sit with me. Nobody else's problems. I had to deal with me. And I maybe I'll post a video another time. On my birthday, I decided that I just wanted to go and meditate at the beach. And when I got to the beach, I happened to sit next to this beautifully voiced older black woman, and she was just worshiping and praising and just singing to the sun rising. And it was this moment where I guess I had really great confirmation that that journey of losing myself was necessary. I always say this in dance: we lose ourselves so we can refine ourselves and hopefully recreate ourselves. Whenever those moments happen in life and you find yourself losing a bit of yourself, just know things aren't working because things just aren't working. Meaning, don't personalize it. It has less to do with you specifically. And sometimes it's just something that you're doing, or something in your life is happening to you, or someone in your life, and those seasons are necessary. They're scary as shit, but they're necessary. If you can just hold on to that, and that's faith, is not really knowing and still holding on anyway, right? It's relinquishing control. And that's what I had to do. I just had to let go of control this whole year. So yeah, where I landed is that I'm gonna pursue acting with everything I got. I'm just not gonna chase a career. But with that, I'm gonna continue doing this. But I realize that I can't do this the way that I've done it before or the way that anybody else has done it. I have to just make this my own. So that's what this is, at least today. I'll always continue to make SHADELIFE Café because it means something to me. I'm just not going to do it consistently in the way that I presented it. And that's actually one of the rules I have to my creativity. Now, no planning. I am a free expressionist. I'm a freestyle artist in many ways, so I live in the moment. I prepare and I learn new skills and I practice and I train and I learn things, but in the moment, I'm in the moment, and whatever comes out, it comes out. Whatever resources I have, what other tools that I have, I try to use whatever camera that I have, and try to light it, mic it up, and film it the best way that I can with the time that I have. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm coming back here to make what I've been wanting to make my whole life, which is a piece of work that in hopes it will just make your day a little bit better. And if you have days getting a little bit better, maybe that will pull you out of a dark place. Maybe it will inspire you to go somewhere bigger. Maybe it will inspire you to do the same or do something more. Some of these will be pieces of work that are my actual life, and some things will be about my life. I'm preparing for another daily vlog eventually, sooner than later probably, because with number 2 coming, I do want to take that task again and honor that tradition, do a 100-day vlog, so that my kids can see what life was like 100 days before they were born. From where my mind was at, what I believed at the time, what I was going through, what mom and dad were going through, and who were our friends, and where did we go, and I want to share all that. But within all of that, I also want to be honest, and if I'm going to do this, I have to change my entire life. So I already started a bit of the process, and I'm just getting rid of stuff. I can't say that I'm going to get rid of everything right away, but eventually it will be pretty minimal. I don't know what that means, but I want to focus on this. That's what I want to do. I want to focus on it, and I just want to work on creating meaningful content, something that means something to me, something that I feel can be beneficial for my family and the community that surrounds us. As an adopted child, there's a lot to say. There's a lot to experience. As someone that will always have a pastoral heart, I always want to help, and I also want to be better for myself. Someone that loves making dance films, that's never going to stop. And as far as filmmaking, I guess this is where we figure it out. After years of working in the industry, I realized that this is something that can fuel my life, but I hope that it can fuel my life in a way that it makes me feel joy because it's a piece of work that I created. So that's the direction that I want to go in, but I don't want to do it in the industry that exists today. I don't want to do this in the industry that exists today, meaning like I don't want to work in the union, and I don't want to work in big production sets. When it comes to bigger productions, I'd rather be on the other side of the camera. But I do want to create films. I want to make pieces of work. I want to make short films. I want to make feature films. I want to make travel videos and dance videos. I want to make pieces of work that mean something to me, that matter to me, because in doing that and sharing it, that makes me happy. So in moving forward, I'm not really going to have any sense of order. I'm just going to create. I'm just going to go. And hopefully tell a good story along the way. But each video will be its own piece of work and content. And it will inspire a thought to work on the next video. I don't know how consistent I'll output, but I know that I will be always every day working on a piece of video. So up until the time where I do the daily vlog, the daily 100-day video for baby Bali, up until that point, it will just be me making videos randomly. And also, I mean, I wasn't that boring when I was stepped away. I did go some places. I did do some things, and my family, we've grown a lot. And I really love what we've built, my wife and I. Not only together, not only just a family, but our community, our friends, our home. And we want to experience more of the world, but we also want to grow with our friends. And that's a tough one. As much as I love the Bucket List family and what they do, I also realize that what makes me a little bit different, I guess, is I'm a homebody. I really like a community, and I've grown to really love the community that I'm a part of here in South Florida. Who knows, it might mean to move one day, but that time isn't yet. Also, the South Florida community is lacking so hard when it comes to having an honest acting community, meaning a community that just wants to act and is less about booking and industry stuff and more about the art form. I'm hoping that I can build something in that, the same way I would have done for dance. We'll see. But yeah, we really love it here. We just want to simplify our life as much as possible so that we can just do the things that we love and spend time with the people that we love. That's the goal. But yeah, we're on that process, and a year later, this is where we landed. This is what I'm gonna do. So yeah, still gonna act, still gonna dance, and back to making some videos. But I wouldn't consider this a vlog. Well, this is actually a vlog. This is a true vlog. That's what SHADELIFE Café is turned into, a true vlog, which is just a camera and you and talking. But the rest of the content, no, it's not going to be a vlog. It's going to be pieces of work. And I hope you enjoy it. So, here it is. Cheers to another day in the shade life. See ya.